Hello guys, welcome back. Thonan here. This is the Daily Grind and this is Saint Seiya Awakening. But I'm using the Chinese server to make today's video. Just a few minutes ago, in the Saint Seiya Awakening game in the Singapore server, we finally were made aware of what the new unit, the new card is going to be for the next week after the maintenance on, well, for the country I live in, it's going to be on Tuesday. I think for the people in Asia, it's going to be on Wednesday. Well, after the next server reset, after the next maintenance, Divine Cloth Seiya, or Pegasus God Cloth, as some people know him, is going to be the new summoning unit. Like I told you in previous videos, I'm not happy with how GT Arcade is handling the game, so I'm going to keep the negative aspects of this video to a minimum. I think this is just very obvious cash grab, because the Knights of the Zodiac server is about to open either on September 12th or September the 20th. So they are trying to, I don't know why, they're trying to keep people from migrating to the other server, even though it is from the same company. GT Arcade is going to be running the European, the American, and the Singapore versions of the game. So I just can't see a reason to try to keep your players from going to the other version. I don't know. Maybe if you wanted, I don't know marketing. I'm not a marketer. I have never studied that, but I just can't understand, really. I'm at a loss of words about what they're trying to accomplish. Like, they are both pretending at the same time that the Chinese version doesn't exist, that GT Arcade is developing the game, and in the publicity, in all the advertising for the new servers, Knights of the Zodiac Awakening, because that's the full name of the game, Saint Seiya, I don't know what it's called, semicolon, Saint Seiya Knights of the Zodiac Awakening. That's the full title of the new version of the game. Well, I say it's a new version, but in reality, it's the exact same game, it's the exact same engine from the company, the Chinese company Tencent. They are just publishing it outside of China in Singapore, because Taiwan has their own version. It's run by Gamma Movie. I have been corrected on this regard. Gamma Movie runs the Taiwan version, so it's Chinese too. In a sense, I don't want to run into trouble with everything that is happening down there in Taiwan and Hong Kong and everything like that. I don't want to have trouble for that with anybody. I'm not trying to offend. I'm just stating that the Taiwanese version is more or less the same. They are running behind like a month and a half, so they are probably going to get both God Iki and Athena, the goddess, in a couple of weeks at most. Well, but GT Arcade, since the beginning, has been running banners every week without letting their players build their rosters properly. They are only caring about the people who spend, and they are giving them more things to spend on. And most of the whale category of players is happy spending. I don't criticize that. I'm cool with that. All right? So ultimately, they are the guys that allow the free players to run. But the rest of the player base, if you're not spending at least $100 in the Saint Seiya Awakening, you're running far behind. Like, even the cheapest whales already have around 6 or 7 6 stars level 80 characters with maxed out combos, and they can farm up to the elite level of Shrine. I'm cool with that. I'm not saying that we should be at the same level. But the thing is, with banners coming every week, and now that we have had Poseidon Araya Shiki, Poseidon came out just 2 weeks ago. People haven't had time to figure out how to play, even if you put out videos teaching how to use the characters. 2 weeks is not the same to really get the feel of the meta game. Some people are still just, hey, I finally built my Poseidon with shards. What cosmos do I equip? I'm like, dude, go see the videos. There's already information there. But it's too fast. It's too fast. Like, this is the Chinese server. We have had a whole week after the Athena. Athena came out 2 weeks ago. Some people still don't have Athena at level 80 like myself. And we are still figuring out just how overpowered Athena really is. And she's already started to show up in high level PvP because she's, it's kind of sarcastic to say, but she's a goddess of PvP. And you just don't have time to develop your roster to get the feel of how to play the characters. So now GT Arcade is going to release this God Seiya, Pegasus God Cloth or Divine Cloth Seiya. I'm gonna call him God Seiya for short. So I'm not repeating that tongue twister every time. Okay, so he's the new unit coming out. He is one hell of a PvP unit, and he's also very, very good for PvE. Granted that you spend at least 16 blue books in his skills. Now, Seiya, when he is released, is the second fastest unit in the game from base speed alone. The fastest character in the game is Hydra Ichi. But Pegasus is usually the character that is going to strike first. It is not unlikely, if you build your character right, to reach and surpass 700 points of speed. So you have Alpha Strike with this character. He also has one of the highest, if not the highest, physical attack rating in the game at over 3,000 points when you reach level 80. That's base. With 8 cents, you are going to be breaking. Mine is not very well built. I wasn't playing seriously until a couple of months ago, after the Chinese ID embargo thing that kicked out a lot of players. I managed to recover thanks to an acquaintance from the Chinese server that lent me his data to log in, because we are not playing on the same servers. That's something that is very, very cool about the Chinese version. As long as you have somebody added to your WeChat and they are also playing the game, you can do PvE missions, and you can play the what's the name, the Astro Cycle and the Great Adventure, the Aries Adventure. You can play that, the Monopoly like game. You can play that with a person from another server. I don't know if this is possible. I haven't tried in the Awakening version, because most of the people I play with, we are all in Tauros server 8. Anyways, Seiya has two active abilities, his basic and his ultimate, that is the Godly or Divine Pegasus Meteor Fist, and two passives, one of which is a counter strike once Seiya dies. So I'm going to explain the building process for Pegasus. Another thing that I'm very, very angry about is the fact that they are going to release Seiya, but they are not going to release his best Cosmos. And there are these two, the Red Mist and the Sword of Damocles. And these two are, you have to have this in order to get the maximum amount of damage from Pegasus. But anyways, you can build Pegasus with Physical Stone, with Tenacity. You could use Staunch in place as a placeholder in the Star Cosmos, the Blue Cosmos, and your legendary could be either Vulcan or maybe Kingfisher, because if you're going to run a Staunch, then you will be able to use Kingfisher very effectively. But Sword of Damocles is preferred because his base substat is speed, so it's easier to build the speed for Pegasus. If God Cloth Pegasus, God Seiya, is not the first character in your team to attack, chances are that an enemy will be able to even stun him because he has very crappy resist stats, even though he gets some from 8 cents. Also, finally, I think they are going to release the 8 cents dungeon, but for some boneheaded reason, this is also something I don't understand outside of it spelling cash grab anytime I try to think about it. They are going to release this godly PvP unit and the 8 cents dungeon in the middle of Jameer tournament, which starts tomorrow at 8 a.m. In the United States, and I think it's 7 p.m. No, I'm making a video, dude, later. So yeah, any way you try to think about it, it's they are going for the whales. They are going to try to keep people to migrate to the European or the American servers that are coming out this month. Supposedly, it launches on Thursday, so this very same week, and this release schedule is also forcing me to scrape around 10 tutorial videos that I have made for this week, including the in-depth review for Radamantis, Pandora, Hades. I was going to review Pegasus God Seiya, Pegasus God Cloth, but this completely changes everything because the date they chose to release this is very baffling. But anyway, that's the thing. Like I told you, you can use flames because if you want critical strikes with Pegasus, if you're going to be running Kingfisher, you could use the flames instead here. These ones to give more critical damage. But you have options, and later on you will have even more options. But this is more or less the perfect setup for God Cloth Seiya. You just have to get a lot of critical in this and speed. You have to get this with extra speed. I'm still working on mine. I kind of put him on the side because Divine Cloth Hiki is better than Seiya at both PvP and PvE because his setup is not so weird. And I'm going to explain that in just a second. The thing with Pegasus is that when you look at his skills, his basic is a strike. It doesn't have any particular side effect. It's just that it starts at 110% of the physical rating and ends at 130. So there is not a lot of improvement there. He's going to be very damaging anyway, so you can leave this at 1 and never worry about it. The problem comes with his ultimate. His ultimate consists of Pegasus taking flight, and when they say taking flight, is that he's going to jump high in the air. There is going to be a little cinematic. He's going to attack with the Pegasus Ryuseikon up to 5 times. And every upgrade of this skill increases the amount of damage that each Pegasus Meteor Fist does. At the first level, it's when you add up all the damage, it's 300% physical attack. So let's say if you have 10,000 points of physical attack power, that's going to be 30,000 points of damage before reduction from defense and physical resist. So it is a pretty damaging move. The thing is, once Seiya lands, he's going to be tired and he's going to stay on the floor for 3 rounds doing nothing. So you have to upgrade this. And the final upgrade where he becomes usable, it's level 4, where he's going to perform and strike at 300% of his physical strike damage. So if you have 10,000 points of physical attack, his Ryuseken is going to be for 35,000 points of damage before reduction from defense and physical resistance. Physical resistance is going to become a thing because 8 Sense is about to launch. So, there. Why level 4? Because when the skill is at level 3, he is still going to be down for 2 rounds doing nothing. So you better get the most out of this strike and bring him to level 4 at least. The final damage is 74% per strike times 5, 370% of your physical attack rating for the Divine Meteor Punch. Now, when Pegasus is flying, his first passive enters the fray. This passive, what it does is Pegasus has a set amount chance of attacking from the sky if his teammates take a turn but don't do damage. This is kind of complicated to explain, but I'm going to run some training hole right behind this so you can see that in action. I have this at level 3, but again, this skill should be at level 4. At level 1, you have a 40% chance of performing an assist strike up to 2 times. That means that you can assist twice during flight, and you will get an increase of 30% on your damage if your teammate doesn't use energy, 10% if your teammate uses 1 energy point, or 0% if they use 2 or more energy when taking their turn. Now, you want this to be at level 4 because at level 4 you get 100% chance of performing the assist up to 3 times. That's the maximum you're going to assist. So you get 4 attacks out of Divine Cloth Pegasus. If you remember, his maximum damage is 370%. So if you perform that twice, that means that Pegasus can strike for almost 1500% in total. That's why you want this at level 4. But that also makes him a very, very expensive unit to run, both in the number of blue books. His skill uses 3 energy, so that's not very expensive considering that he can basically one-shot everybody in the game that is not a tank with his strikes. And the increase at level 4 is 40% of his original attack. So let's say 370 times 40 or 0.40, that's 520% strike of his physical attack rating. So yeah, he can pretty much one-shot anybody. Then the last level, level 5, it's still 100% chance of assisting 3 times. But the increase if your teammate doesn't use energy, it's 50%. That's over almost 600 times his physical attack rating. And that's about it. The last skill is, in case Divine Cloth Pegasus dies, he's going to strike the character that killed him. At level 1 is just a 20% chance of performing the Pegasus Rolling Crush. That's another one of his powers or techniques at 200% of the physical attack rating. You only have to bring this to level 3 if you ever want to use it. But if they kill God Pegasus, you are kind of already screwed. But at level 3 and beyond, he can also one-shot pretty much anybody in the game, because level 3 it's 100% chance of performing the Rolling Crush at 300% of his physical attack rating. And at level 5, it's 100% chance of performing the Rolling Crush when he dies. And if for whatever reason he cannot attack the guy that killed him, he's going to strike somebody else at random. So he's going to take somebody out. At level 5, this skill does 600% of his physical attack rating. So if you bring Pegasus to 10,000 attack points of physical attack, that's 60,000 points of attack that is not modified by defense, because it's true damage on top of everything else. So let's go see him in action before this is an hour-long video. And trust me, I want to I want to rant about this, because it's just, I mean, it's just garbage. But once you build your God Seiya to a decent level, I mean, my skills are at level 3 each, and my second passive at level 2. He's usable, but he's not dependable. You pretty much depend, if you're going against another guy with Divine Seiya, you have to strike first. And if your Pegasus is not attacking every time like he should, then you are going to be in trouble. Big trouble. So let me build something that you can use in the Awakening version. You can run it like this. You could use cannon, but it's not really advisable. Or well, you can run Arayashiki if you like. Has many different affinities and synergies, but this one is one of the best, because these guys don't use energy, and that maximizes damage like that. For example, if you run Arayashiki, then you set up a blood pool somewhere else, and then Seiya just goes crazy. Remember, your characters, or the characters you're using along with Pegasus, must not do damage. So you can use healers, and there's the strike. And Death Mask is also a very good boy, because when he performs the Sekishiki, technically he has taken his turn and he's not doing damage. And I think I'm out of assists with Pegasus. But the other one you could use is the shield from Mu, or the crystal vest from Shion. And as you can see, Pegasus can pretty much decimate an entire team. If you have a fast team of healers, chances are the other guy is never going to be able to retaliate. And that's why you need an Evil Saga. They came out in this order: Divine Pegasus, and then immediately after Evil Saga. Evil Saga is a hard counter for this, because he punishes everybody who uses high energy. Let's run this again. And as long as your Pegasus is above 620, 640, you pretty much also go before any of the bosses, like the Titan, or things like that. Like here, I'm going to go for Hiki first, just to deprive the enemy team of energy, like so, and put this on Poseidon. Because if you don't use energy, God Seiya gets, in this case I'm at a skill level 3, he gets 40% more attacking damage every time on top of the one that he did before. So as long as the assist comes out, he starts doing more and more damage. And everybody is just done already. But the key is your team must take its turn and preferably use zero energy. And then whatever is left after Pegasus is taken care of by Arayashiki. And also both God Seiya and Evil Saga counter Arayashiki very, very hard. So if you were very, very happy of getting Arayashiki, trust me, you're going to start seeing a lot less of Shaka just as the God Seiyas start proliferating. By the way, I'm done with Awakening. I'm just not coming back. It's just too much. Just too much. If I were spending, I will cut the spending right now, seriously, and just try the new server. And if they have the same thing, I will move over to the Chinese one. And I don't get paid for saying this. I'm not a spokesperson for GT Arcade or Tencent, just to make things clear. But it is my opinion that fuck them. Fuck GT Arcade, seriously. Because they are not making this enjoyable. I play Awakening the least possible. Like pretty much just for making videos, and ever since they did this crap of making the units limited to their banner. Oh wow, that's a max level. Oh no, doesn't have the awakened cloth. Anyways, boom and boom, and you can farm this way. Also, when you finish building your God Seiya, he is magnificent for farming experience. And I'm going to finish this later, but I'm going to show you just how easy farming is when you have your Divine Cloth Pegasus. I don't want anybody to come into this party. And just let me check that I have my 4 times stamina turned on. Alright. Crazy. Also for farming friendship for the units that need friendship. It's very, very cool. So even though you can't use this setup in Awakening, I'm farming friendship for all of these guys. When you finish building your God Seiya, pretty much what you see is this. There. That's how I farm experience in the Chinese version. Takes too long, if you ask me. But that's the aim. You want to be able to kill Titan, you have to play manually, because God Seiya has a penchant for targeting the ads instead of the Titan. But you can pretty much finish every dungeon like this. This is how you farm. Or well, this is how I farm every day, and everybody else gets friendship. So when these guys are all friendship level 6 or 7, I'm going to switch new guys in with Godseiya over there. And the thing that the reason I equipped Sword of Damocles, because this is harder to do with Vulcan for some reason. Sometimes he won't kill the Titan, even if you have a high physical attack rating. Sword of Damocles increases a percentage of the attack rating itself per energy point spent once you perform your ultimate. So this Pegasus is getting 60% increase of his attack rating. He is at 9,000 and change, so it's like he was 15k. The exchange, and he also gets 40% critical strike, I think. So that's the best Cosmos for him. Once it comes out, you can equip Kingfisher or Vulcan in the beginning, but you're going to have to equip Sword of Damocles later. Because it also gives damage penetration. The exchange is that you get also a 20% HP reduction for the rest of the fight every time that Sword of Damocles activates. So let's say you start with 10,000 HP points, you use Sword of Damocles, and you are reduced to 8,000 HP points for the rest of the fight. And then if you use an ultimate again and Sword of Damocles activates anew, then that's another 20% off your HP bar. So after 3 or 4 rounds, you are left with just a sliver of HP. It's perfect for Pegasus because you also want him to get killed easily once the fight gets going. And you want him to be killed easily and by accident by an astray area of effect skill, like let's say a Gala, Galaxian Explosion, maybe the Tidal Wave, or even Hades coming out with the Solar Eclipse activation. Because if Pegasus gets killed, then he's going to attack the guy that killed him immediately, even if it's made by a passive. So that's the in-depth review and showcase for Divine Cloth Pegasus, also known as Pegasus God Cloth. And I'm going to start calling him God Seiya, and later on Iki, because Iki also gets his own Divine Cloth, God Iki, just for ease of pronunciation. But it's referring to this. It's going to come out after the reset. The chances are that it's going to be also a bullshit limited edition tune. So I certainly hope that you saved up several blue books, because if you want to use this Pegasus, you want to start with his passive first. Bring it to level 4, that's 8 blue books for level 4, so you get 100% chance to get his assist. And then you start working on his actual ultimate, so he just doesn't stay there for 3 rounds doing nothing. Thank you again, guys, for all your good vibes, because most of the people have talked to me, encouraging me to keep with the videos. I'm going to keep covering the game. I'm just quitting the Awakening version completely. I'm just going to go in, do the boss for my Legion's sake, but I'm out. I'm off. I don't want to do anything with that version anymore. Seriously. So, all your questions, your comments, your suggestions to improve the channel, leave them in the comments below. Subscribe to the channel, click on the little bell so you get a notification when I upload new material. This week is going to be very, very heavy with videos. I was about to start uploading stuff when the announcement came for God Seiya, so I had to scrap those plans I had for this week, and I'm starting again. But Radamantis is coming, Pandora is coming, I can upload those. They are going to be going up during the week. It doesn't matter anymore. Seeing as they don't care about the release order and they are doing whatever they want, then I'm going to do whatever I want. Because as a content creator, you don't even get the chance to properly hype people for this. Like, this could be a very, very big thing. Like, oh yeah, finally, the divine cloth, but turns out that the divine clothes are from the Hades chapter, and technically we are not even out of Poseidon. The Poseidon chapter in this game finishes on chapter 24 and 25, and those are not out yet. So, well, whatever, dude. I mean, if they don't care, I don't care either. But all the coming videos are going to be way, way more positive than this. I just had to vent. And don't worry, I will keep making videos for the game. But I'm gonna keep using the Chinese version. By the way, if you're playing the Chinese version, it's been confirmed that Mew Papillon or Papillon is coming out for the Chinese server this month. There's already footage out there from the Chinese test server. There is a guy in Taiwan that has a YouTube channel, and he always uploads things from the test server, and he just uploaded the skills for Papillon, and he looks very, very cool. It's another unit like Radamantis that doesn't use energy, so they are releasing stuff to deal with Evil Saga. Most of the specters don't use energy to cast their skills, so this is very, very cool, very, very good. So keep tuned. I'm gonna keep uploading material. See you around. See you next time. In the meantime, keep grinding on.